Hey, what is good guys, John here and welcome back to the channel. Now we got our first look and our first real hands-on from somebody taking delivery of their Tesla Model Y, and this is with the structural battery and the 4680 cells. You guys pretty much know all the good stuff about it already, but there are some concerns that I do have and I want to talk about it in this video here and maybe get your guys' input and maybe in the comments below. If you guys do notice that I said something incorrect, please let me know as well. I'd love to just hear your thoughts. Alright, so before we jump straight into that, let's talk about the first delivery here, and this is from a Tesla employee, a technician, a process technician to be more exact, and she picked up her Tesla Model Y standard range and it came with this new pack, and of course it came from the Giga Texas factory, and that just pretty much means that all Tesla Model Ys coming from this factory here is going to have that new 4680 cell. Alright, so now seeing Reagan pick up her first Tesla Model Y here, it does raise up some concerns that I do want to talk about, and that has to do with the pack and the affordability of this car overall. Now, if you simply just go onto the Tesla website, you can see what the prices are for the long range and the performance. Now, in terms of what it was originally selling for the SR model, that is substantially cheaper than the long range, especially when you're factoring in incentives and all the good stuff there. But now there is no more incentives. The brand new SR version, which is the 4680 cell here with the structural pack, is going to be a little bit more costlier because it is all-wheel drive. So now with all-wheel drive, it definitely means that it's going to be more beneficial for those living up north, especially where I am, up in Vancouver. There are a few flurries here and there, but on the flip side, you will be paying a lot more, and this is where the conundrum comes into play. Are you going to be picking up a standard range all-wheel drive, or are you going to be paying a little bit extra and picking up the long range? Now, at this moment, it's pretty much all rumors and guesses, but I do think that this car is going to be coming in at just under $60,000 US. That's going to be roughly about a 3 to 4K difference from the long range Model Y, and that just makes it a little bit more harder to decide if I just might as well go straight for the long range or go for a standard range and just lose out on the range and the performance. Now, speaking about performance, you're going to get a little bit of a downgrade there if you're going to be picking up a standard range now versus a long range. It's going to be roughly 4.4 seconds versus I'd say 5.2 seconds. Not drastic in the realms of cars in general, but for Teslas, that is quite substantial. Alright, so for more context here, the standard range that we originally had versus the standard range now, you're going to be gaining an additional all-wheel drive, meaning that there's an additional motor up front, and that means that there is going to be more weight. Now, with more weight, that just means that your energy efficiency is not going to be as good as the original standard range, and that comes into play here a little bit with the structural pack. I think they are just making it level playing field between the two. The 4680 cells is going to be a little bit better. That's why it's able to maintain pretty much the same mileage or the same estimated range versus the standard range before with the older battery technology. So if you care about that at all, looking at the energy consumption tab and graph and whatnot, and if you want the best of the best, it's not going to be there because it's not going to be as good as the standard range. Alright, now speaking of the standard range, we do have the standard range Model 3 as a comparison. Now that pretty much has the best of everything right now except for the battery, which likely is going to get the new cells very soon. But what I'm speaking of more here is the interior and the headlights and all the goodies underneath. The interior has not been updated in the Model Y, unfortunately. Even in the Gigafactory version of the Model Y, you're not going to see the new interior with the wraparound trim. You're going to get the old one. Now, I'm not sure if Tesla is going to eventually update this because it's so outdated at this point, but hopefully we're going to see that wraparound trim eventually, as well as the new matrix LED in all of the units. Sorry, scratch that. I think it already does have matrix LED. It just doesn't have the taillight at the back, which just makes it a little bit nicer. And I'm talking about the taillight that just doesn't have the blinker as a separate portion. It's part of the taillight itself. Alright, so just one final thing here that I think is going to be a negative to the structural battery pack is the fact that the suspension has not been improved whatsoever. And what I noticed with my standard range versus my all-wheel drive long range model is that the suspension has to handle a lot more in the long range because of the extra weight. So that means that you're going to feel the bumps bumps and the cracks on the road a lot more than their standard range. Now, I'm only saying this because the Model Y suspension is so bad in my opinion. I'm really not kidding here. Every little crack on the ground, I can feel it in my butt, and every single bump, it just pretty much shakes the entire car. So just the added extra weight to it, I don't think it's gonna be that good. And if you guys have ever driven the Model 3 versus the Model Y, the extra weight of the Model Y definitely makes you feel it, even though they have pretty much the same suspension. So anyways, to wrap up this video, the standard range all-wheel drive dual motor Model Y is going to be released very soon to everyone. Right at this moment, it's only available to employees as the factory is ramping up. But if you guys are going to be feeling that you want the 4680 cells for whatever reason, you don't really want to wait for that. Just if it comes, it comes, but you don't want to delay your car just for the battery and the structural frame and whatnot, because the rest of the cars are just as good. You'll probably not even feel it. This benefits really just Tesla themselves, because the cost to produce those has dropped dramatically. Everything else is literally just hype, honestly. Now, in my opinion, if I do have a delivery coming up in the next few weeks or the next few months, I might as well just go pick it up, because there is not a substantial difference enough in the 4680, the Gigafactory version of the Model Y, to make it worthwhile and wait that much longer. So anyways guys, this should be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, or you guys have anything else you want to mention, please drop it in the comments below. And if you guys haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe, that bell notification. Really helps out the channel. This is John once again. Peace out.